Right, welcome. Here we go with the second scenario of our mini Chaos League for the League of Extraordinary Investigators. First was Return to Blood on the Altar. Today is Return to Where Doom Awaits, all selected randomly with a bit of weighting given to people's favourites. If you've not seen a previous episode, we also have created a Chaos deck, so that's why it's a mini Chaos League really. We're picking 3 scenarios completely at random and we're building decks at random, then we're using a little bit of XP to tweak the decks to try and make them a little more playable than they originally might have been. And here we are. So I got through Blood on the Altar. Yeah, I got 5 XP from that, so I was quite pleased with how that panned out. And I've used my XP to buy a Charisma fan art there, and what else did I buy? I've forgotten what I bought. I think it was 2 Enchanted Blades. Yes, it was 2 Enchanted Blades to try and improve my weapons. And I dropped out, I already had 2 meat cleavers. I dropped out the trench knife and the Gravedigger's shovel. All the setup has been done. The only thing I haven't done is the random removal of 1. I did random removal of 1 last night when I was setting up the cards. So one of these 4 may be the return version. Who knows? Same with the altered paths. And then I'm now going to do the normal setup version of removing 1 from the game, leaving 3 to choose from. Giving these a little bit more of a shuffle on stream. I was shuffling them on the starting soon page, but who watches that? Yo Smega, how are you? I really need to tweak the way these chat messages display, because all I can see is this. Don't know how responsive it is. Can I do a live edit on the stream? Let's see. No, that's just moving it. Okay, right. Where was I? Yes, I have random locations to choose from. I have a 6-sided dice, 4 locations. If I roll a 5 or a 6, I'll re-roll. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 is the one that goes. That is 6. Let's roll again. That is a 4. So that goes out of the game without peeking. And then the same for the altered path. Number 1, that one goes out of the game. So in line with the instructions, I have 3 altered paths and 3 diverging paths ready to be brought in at the opportune moment. I have the 2 return versions of Base of the Hill and Ascending Path. I have never played the return version, so I have no idea how it's going to change things. Just check my instructions and make sure I've not missed anything else. Yeah, I've reviewed 1 of each. Seth's out of play over there. I used the standalone instructions, so the Chaos bag is already taken account for, goes up to -5. I've used version 3 of Ascending the Hill Act 2. Naomi does not have the investigators back. There are no brood of Yog Sothoth escaped into the wild, and we did not put Silas Bishop out of his misery, even though I did. So the rest of the instructions, yeah, I've got the right act in play. We don't need to add Doom because of brood that escaped. We ignore the fact that we put Silas out of his misery, so we don't get the Hideous Abominations encounter set or the Conglomeration Spheres. And there's our encounter deck. Right, get this monstrosity out of the way. Here we have Yorick. I'm using this fist icon to show whether he's used his special ability of recurring an asset from the discard pile. You have to excuse me with being a bit snuffly and streamy eyes. It's not coronavirus, it's pet allergies. But I'm not getting rid of the pets. Right, let's I'll do a little bit of a more of a shuffle and then we'll draw our opening hand. There we go. We have to make a little bit more space. I want to make sure you can still see my investigator board and tokens, etc. Don't need to see charisma because that's a static effect. Right, we'll go 1 improvised weapon, 2 painkillers, 3 painkillers, 4 resourceful. Well, that is a terrible, terrible opening hand. I've got 2 cards I can't use because my discard's pile empty. I've got 2 cards I can't use because I'm not injured yet. Oh, anyway, yeah, I think I might keep 1 of the improvised weapons and ditch the lot. Now I'm going to ditch both of the improvised weapons in the hope that I get a weapon. 1 cornered, 2 Ventura, 3 not without a fight, 4 manual dexterity, 5 vicious blow. Well, that's not great, is it? Where have all my weapons gone? Just seed these through the deck and give them a shuffle, and they'll all miraculously go back to the top. This does not bode well. I can't remember whether there's much combat in this. I know there's the guy who goes running to the top and we've got to try and stop him. Right, well the only decent thing there is cornered. Unfortunately I'm not Patrice, so throwing these cards away isn't going to bring extra ones back. Okay, so let's start. Reveal our base of the hill location, Shroud of 4, ouch. 3 clues to find. Base of the hill is connected to each copy of Diverging Path. Forced, after you discover 1 or more clues, spend those clues and put that many random set aside at Diverging Path locations into play. Right, well first thing I'm going to do, action 1, is pay 2 for cornered, which lets me ditch some of these rubbish cards. At least to get some skill out of them. Ventura can no longer afford, not without a fight, only work if I'm engaged with an enemy. Manual dexterity is an evade skill and vicious blow is a fighting skill, so I have nothing here to help me. So I will discard Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, to boost my skill by 2, so I'm investigating with a 4. I can only do it once per test, so 4 on a 4, what a terrible start. 4 on a 4, and we get a tablet, which is a -2, so fail. So that was my second action, it was an investigate. Third action, it's a terrible waste of a move, but I'm gonna draw Pete. Okay. No enemies in play. Nothing to ready. Card and a resource. My card is another vicious blow. You watched me shuffle this deck, didn't you? And a resource. Doom on the agenda. 1 out of 12. And an encounter card. And we get Oppressive Mists. Revelation attached to your location. Limit 1 per location. After investigating this location draws 1 or more cards, they must test head of 3. If that investigator fails, he or she chooses and discards an equal number of cards. So after you draw 1 or more cards, you have to make a head test. If it fails, you have to discard the same number of cards as you drew. Okay, and that's attached to my location. Strong coffee required. Right, at first I thought attaching to my location it was going to make it even harder to investigate. I don't need him yet, but I'm going to pay for him while I can afford him. I'm bringing Pete into play. 3 in my first action. So at least I have extra evade and extra head skill, which will help with that. Oh, of course, if I just do a draw action, it's going to happen again, isn't it? Right, second action. Let's use cornered, and I will discard, not without a fight, to do another 4 on a 4 check. This is a really bad start. 4 on a 4 check, and that is a cultist. Reveal another token. Cancel the effects and icons of each skill card committed to this test. I haven't committed any skill cards to this test. So still 4 on a 4. Oh. So that's 2 actions down. Third action. Let's discard a vicious blow using cornered. And again, 4 on a 4. -1, still a fail. That's how this game is going to go. Right, no enemies in play. Nothing to ready. Card. Improvised weapon. And a resource. Doom. That flips to 2 Doom out of 12. And an encounter card. Inexplicable Cold. Revelation, test evade of 4. For each point you fail by, you must choose and discard a card from your play area or hand or take a damage. So my evade is 3, +1 from Pete is 4. I'll throw in a manual dexterity to make it 6. -2, that's a pass. If this is successful, draw a card, but then Oppressive Mist kicks in. Test head of 3. My head is 4, thanks to upgraded Pete. 4 and a 3, -2, that's a fail, so I must discard a card. I'm keeping the lantern. I'm going to ditch improvised weapon. This is not going well. Cornered is great in Patrice. I'm guessing it's not so good when you don't have infinite hand refill. I don't know what I was thinking putting cornered in here. I think I was thinking it might help mitigate some of the terrible chaos cards, but never mind. Right. Action 1. I'm going to pay 2 for Lantern. So my location now has -1 shroud, so it's down to 3. I will discard Vicious Blow and use Cornered to boost my test by 2. So I'm now going book on 2, 3, 4 on a 3. That's gone now. 4 on a 3. Reveal another token. 4 on a 3. -5. I am not doing well. 3 full turns gone and not a single clue found. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards discarded. Okay. That wasn't a full turn gone, was it? That was my first action. Yeah, it's because there was all that stuff going on in the encounter phase. Second action. I've got nothing to discard now, so I can't use cornered. I could... The lantern brings that down to a 3, but I'm only investigating with a 2. There is a single +1 in there. I could draw a card, but I could end up having to ditch it anyway. And then it becomes a total wasted action. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 2 actions to get rid of this. So that's action 2, action 3. Right, no enemies in play. Nothing to ready. Card. Should I have done that in the upkeep phase last turn? Shouldn't I, probably? Oh well, I've got a resourceful now, and have I got anything useful I want to pull back? Improvised weapon, not without a vinyl, really. My resource, don't forget that. Doom. We're now at 3 out of 12. Encounter. Visions of Future Past test head of 5. For each point you fail by, discard the top card of your deck. Well, my head is currently 4. 4 on a 5. Tablet is a -2. So I failed by 3. 1. Overpower. 2. Belly of the Beast. 3. Meat Cleaver. One of my weapons. Excuse me. Right. That's dealt with. Action 1. Draw. Guard dog. Action 2. Draw. Another resourceful, for goodness sake. Right, action 3. Right, okay, let's do this. Action 3, I will investigate using my lantern. Brings that shroud down to 3. I will use cornered to discard the guard dog. I don't really want to, but so that brings that boosts my skill by 2. I'm investigating with 2. 4 on a 3, and I will commit a resourceful to it, so that's 5 on a 3. The best chance I've had so far. Rolls eyes. 5 on a 3, and it's still a blinking fail. I think I'm just going to pack up. There's a resign option there. 0 points. Right, let's go for it. Let's carry on. Again. Was that action? So no, I did 2 draws and then investigate, didn't I? So that's my turn done. No enemies in play. Nothing to ready. Card. Emergency quiche and a resource. Doom, that goes to 4. Out of 12. And an encounter. And we get some enemies. At least it's worth a victory point. Prey, least cards in hand, and a Year's Hunter. I've just realised I haven't even read the Acton agenda. The agenda: as you approach Sentinel Hill, you hear ancient Latin rites bellowed across the night. The time for action has come. You cannot stop the sorcerers in Dunwich. Who knows what terrors they might unleash upon the world. And Act 1A, Path to the Hill. The vibrant arcane energy fills the air with a bone-rattling chill. The energy swirls along the crushed trail before you and seeps down several other paths before disappearing. Objective: when the investigators have collected the requisite number of clues, they must immediately spend them in advance. So it's 2 clues per investigator. So we can spend clues to reveal other locations at the base of the hill, or we can spend clues to advance, which, if I remember right, means we can then start moving up. Right. I have a Wizard of Yog-Sothoth to deal with now. Action 1. I still don't have a weapon. At least my fight's 4, but so is his. My evade's 3, or 4 with Pete. His is 3. And he attacks me if I draw a hex or a pact card. Okay, so I suppose I could lob my lantern at him, but I need that for investigating. I'm going to have to do a fight. I'm going to throw in a resourceful, so that puts me on 4, 5. I'll use cornered. I don't really want to discard emergency cash because that's free money, but I need to deal with the wizard, so that's puts me on 4, 5, 6, 7 on a 4. 7 on a 4, and we get a 0, our first positive outcome of the day. So I only do 1 damage, don't I? Because I'm not attacking him with a weapon or anything. Plus resourceful was successful. I can at least bring back something from my card pool, and it's going to have to be a meat cleaver, which I can't afford to play. Let's take a coffee break. The only way I can play my meat cleaver is taking an attack of opportunity by getting a resource, and then a second attack of opportunity by playing a meat cleaver. That's going to deal me 2 damage, he's 8, and 4 horror. Well, Peter can take 2 of the horror and heal them over 2 turns, but I'm still having to take 2 horror, which brings me down to 4 sanity, which at this stage of the game is a little bit low. But I'm not sure what else I can do other than lob the lantern at him. I've now used both of my resourcefuls, they're both gone. Unless I do an Elder Sign ability, I'm not getting those back. Unless I recycle my deck. Corner's no use because that would discard my meat cleaver and I need a weapon that I can't afford to play. I'm in a corner, I really am. Why don't I just try evading for now? 3, 4 from Pete, 4 on a 3. 4 on a 3, reveal another token. 4 on a 3. Oh, you beauty, Elder Sign. Right. Elder Sign is +2, so I passed, he's evaded. Elder Sign ability lets me return 1 card from my discard pile to my hand. Any card, in fact. I think it might have to be resourceful just to give me extra recycling later. Or would a vicious blow be better now to finish off the wizard? Decisions. Or shall I get emergency cash back to give me money? Belly the Beast would have been good. that worth doing? Yeah. Right, I'm going to bring Resourceful back because at least that gives me a chance of recurring more cards later. So for my second action, I'm going to play, because I forgot this was a thing, I'm going to play Improvised Weapon from my discard pile, which I can do. So I can now fight. The attacked enemy gets -1 fight, so that brings his fight down to 4. I'm fighting with 4. I'll make it 5 with Resourceful. I'm fighting with that, so having a weapon. So 5 on a 3. 5 on a 3. Is there anything else I can do? I don't think there is there, unless I've lobbed my meat cleaver. 5 on a 3. Please, please. Skull. -1. That's a pass. So because I played Improvised Weapon from my discard pile, it does 2 damage, so he's dead. 1 victory point. Because I played Resourceful and the test was successful, I can bring another survivor card that is not called Resourceful out of into my hand. I think I'll bring Belly of the Beast, because it's either Belly of the Beast, Resourceful, which I can't bring back, and Not Without a Fight, which is based on how many enemies are engaged with me. Yeah. And because I played Improvised Weapon from my discard pile, it gets shuffled back into my deck, which is an option for me to make sure this deck is shuffled a little better. Famous last words. And I must make sure I put that Elder Sign back in the bag. The deck is looking surprisingly light. There you go, back in bag. Put it in a back in bowl. Right. So my first action was, I've lost track now. First action was I fought, I stuck a damage on him, then I evaded him, then I used the, so I've used my 3 actions, haven't I, this turn. No enemies in play, no enemies to attack, nothing to ready, card and a resource. I get my Enchanted Blade, and I can afford to play it. Okay, Doom, we're now at 5. And an encounter card, Need for Knowledge. If you have no clues, it gains Surge. Okay. Resurgent Evils, Peril, can't talk about it. I must either draw the top 2 cards of the encounter deck or place Doom on the agenda. I'm not really equipped to deal with any enemies, so I'm dooming. Sorry. 6 out of 12, halfway through the first agenda of only 2. Right. Action 1, pay 3. Enchanted Blade. Takes up 2 hand. No, it doesn't take up 2 hand slots. That's good. I had a bit of a panic attack there. And it gets 3 charges. 1, 2, 3. I didn't do that either. After I defeat an enemy, play an asset from my hand, paying its cost. I don't think I've got any asset. I've got a guard dog, which I don't want to pay for because I've needed the money for Enchanted Blade or Ventura, so no, that's fine. Right, so action 1 was play the Enchanted Blade. Action 2, let's try and investigate this thing again. 4. Shroud of 4, Book of 2. Shroud of 3, thanks to Lantern. I'll use Cornered and I shall... I'll discard the Meat Cleaver because Yeah, discard the meat cleaver, so that puts me on 2 plus 2, 4, 4 minus 1, 3. So 4 and a 3, come on! Minus bloody 5. Actually 3. Just realised that's forced actually, so I don't have any choice but to spend the clues to reveal the divergent paths. So I've got a lot of investigating to do and I've not done a very good job at it so far. I'm on turn 6. Almost half my deck, well, maybe just over a third, 2/5 of my deck has gone. Did I take my third action? I don't think I did I? I played my blade. I failed to investigate quite spectacularly. Let's fail to investigate quite spectacularly again. I use cornered, I'll discard the belly of the beast. And so I'm doing it through, what am I doing? 2, 3, 4, it's 4 and a 3 again, isn't it? 4 and a 3. Elder Thing, minus X, discard the top 2 cards of your deck. 0, 2, so it's a minus 2. I was doing 4 and a 3 and it was a minus 2, so I failed. Whoopity doo-dah. And as a look what I found, that would have been useful. Not that I got any money. Hunt 2 enemies move, not in play, enemies attack, nothing to ready. Card and a resource. Cornered. Doom goes to 7. And an encounter. Altered Beast. Sega. If there was no abomination enemies in play, Altered Beast gains Surge. There are no abomination enemies in play. Thrall. Well, there's an abomination enemy. Right. Location with the most clues. That's this one. So he spawns with me, and he has Retaliate. And he's 2/2/2. Right. Right, well I'm fighting on a 4. I could discard corner to make it a 6. I don't have another one of those things in my discard pile, do I? No. Right, I'll fight with the Enchanted Blade, but I will... Shall I empower it? Go on, let's get some action efficiency. Let's empower it. So I'm attacking with a 4, 5, on a 2. So 6 on a 2 because I've empowered it and we'll be doing an extra damage. So 6 on a 2, come on. This game's got it in for me, it really has. So much for action compression. Action 2. Enchant that blade. 6 on a 2. Elder Sign. Better. 6 on a 2 does 2 damage. He's toast. I can play an asset from my discard pile. I don't really need another. I don't really need another meat cleaver, and I can't afford it anyway. I can't afford the guard dog. I can't afford the Ventura. And also because of the Elder Sign effect, I can return one card from my discard pile to my hand as well. I think I get, look what I found. Is that everything covered? Yeah. That's spent. Action 3. Can't afford, look what I found. Oh dear. Let's investigate using cornered. 2. I'll discard my spare cornered, that's 4. That gives me -1. 4 on a 3. 4 on a 3, -1. That's a pass. I've succeeded in something. I gained 1 clue, but forced. After you discover 1 or more clues, spend those clues and put that many random set-aside locations, diverging path locations into play. Diverging path. There we go. It's my third action. No enemies in play. No cards to ready. Card. Moonstone. And a resource. So Moonstone will give me head and evade boosts. The same as Peter, really. And this will put me 5 and 5 of each, which is going to be useful, but not for the stuff I need to do. Doom. We are 8 out of 12. And an encounter. We get oppressive mists attached to your location. After I draw a card, I must test head of 3, and if I fail, I choose and discard an equal number of cards. 2 actions to remove it. Right, action 1. What's it going to be? I could move in the hope that I have an easier job searching for clues over here, so I think I'm going to do that. Action 1 move. Shroud of 3, so only slightly. After you reveal Frozen Spring, lose the remainder of your actions and immediately end your turn. Okay, that's fine. Hunter enemies move, none in play. Enemies attack, none in play. Ready cards, nothing to ready. Card and a resource. Another enchanted blade. Doom. Now it. 9 out of 12. Visions of future past, test head of 5. For each point you fail by, discard the top card of your deck. I'm halfway through my deck now. So my head is 3, 4 from Peter. So 4 on a 5. I'm going to use cornered to discard Moonstone as a as part of committing it to this test, so it doesn't get discarded yet, does it? I've got to get the sequence right, I think. So test 5. So I've gone 3, make it 4 from Peter, plus 2 from discarding Moonstone. So it's 4. That's 5 on a 3, 4. That's 6 on a 5, isn't it? 6 on a 5. -1, that's a pass. That's a pass, and I will immediately play Moonstone because you can't play it from your hand, you can only play it as you discard it. That costs me 3. So that now puts me on. Put him next to Pete. That puts me on 5 head, 5 evade now, which is pretty damn good. That's my doom and my encounter dealt with. Action 1. Let's investigate. I'm going to pay 2. No, I'm not, because I have no money. My shroud, lantern gives it -1 shroud, so I'm investigating with a 2 on a 2. This is a terrible waste of time and energy, I know. Action 1, draw a resource. Action 2, draw a resource. Action 3, investigate. 2 on a 3. 2 comes down. I'm going to use cornered to discard enchanted blade. 2 on a 3. Let me get this right. 2 on a 2. If I discard that, I'm going 4 on a 2. Do I want to do that? Or do I just go for a flat 2 on a 2 and hope that I only fail by 2? But I haven't got. Yeah, go on it. I don't know. Stupid game. Two on a 2. Risk it. Is it 2 on a 2? 2. Yes, 2 on a 2. I can't fail by more than 2, can I? What am I thinking? 2 on a 2, -2, but I failed by 2 or less. I will pay 2 as a fast action to play Look What I Found and discover 2 clues on that location. This force doesn't kick in because I'm not at that location. I now have 2 clues. I must immediately spend them to advance. So clues are spent straight away. During your search through the wooded paths around the base of Sentinel Hill, you come across a startling sight. A herd of sheep lays dead upon the ground in a secluded clearing, their blooded carcasses placed in a strange but careful pattern. Holding your nose against the stench of death, you step over the mangled sheep on your way to the centre of the odd formation. In the centre of the sheep lies the corpse of a man. A clear jewel has been firmly pressed into his forehead, caving in at the front of his skull. His eyes are wide, his face contorted in a vision of fear, as if beseeching you for mercy. Though you know better, you check for a pulse. As you touch the man's skin, the jewel in his forehead dissolves, and the woods around you seem to clear. The arcane presence masking the path further up the hill has faded. Reveal ascending path. Remove all clues from each location in play. Right, ascending the hill, version 3. As you ascend the hill, the environment around you grows increasingly strange and otherworldly. The arcane energy feels even stronger here, crackling in the air and crawling on your skin. Clues cannot be placed on non-altered locations. When an investigator enters Sentinel Peak, advance. So, let me get this timing right. I had to reveal ascending path, which would put 3 clues on it. Then the very next line is remove clues from each location in play. So clues cannot be placed on non-altered locations. Why doesn't it just say clues can only be placed on altered locations? Why the double negatives? Right. Wow, I'm an hour in. I'm only on turn 9, I'm still at the bottom of the hill. Right. So that was my 3 actions. My third action was that investigation. No enemies in play. Nothing to ready. Card. Last chance. And a resource. So last chance actually will play in my favour for how I seem to be running with no cards in my hand at the moment. Doom. We go to 10 out of 12. And I get my next encounter card, which is Right's Howl. Hex. Wasn't there something about drawing a hex? That must have been a treachery card. Discard the top 3 cards of each investigator's deck. Each investigator at an altered location shuffles each weakness in this discard. Well, I'm not at an altered location. I'm just in the woods. So I just discard 3. 1. Improvised weapon. I'm just going to rotate that to remind me that that's there, that I can play from my discard pile. 2. Improvised weapon. How did they end up together? And 3. Another lantern. Okay. Running out of space here. Right. Action 1. I need to get up the hill, don't I? One. This is broken, isn't it? Reveal ascending path. Remove all clues from each location in play. What am I missing? I need to I've got to spend 2 clues as a group to get into Sentinel Peak. There are no clues in play because the game has told me to remove all of the clues. Am I reading it wrong? Remove all the clues from each location in play. So the only way of putting new locations in is by discovering and spending clues, but there aren't any. I don't know what to do. Have I done something stupid? Am I going to have to live Google? Act 1B, a sacrifice made. Is that what it? Is that it? Yes. Aha! It's been errated. Those 2 locate lines should be reversed. Remove all clues from each location in play, then reveal ascending path. I thought I was going mad there, so there are still 3 clues to be found here. Panic over. Right, let's do this thing. Action 1, move. Action 2, move. Action 3. Investigate, I guess. Shroud 4. Investigate with lantern, that brings it down to 3. I'm at 2. I will commit last chance. I only have one card left in my hand, so that is a +4. So that gives me 2, 6, 6 on a 3. Six on a 3. -3, that's just past. That gives me 1 clues, which immediately has to be spent, bringing an altered path location into play. No, I didn't see that because there's a glare on it from my angle, so don't mark me down for revealing unknown information. Can't see it at all, actually. I'm going to stoop over like this to be able to read the card. Right. That's my go done anyway. 3. Move, investigate. No enemies in play. No hunter enemies to move or attack. No card need readying. Draw a card, gain a resource. Card. Hiding spot. Now the resource. Too many cards everywhere. I'll have to make more space. Make more space. Still see that, can't you? Yeah. So we have cornered, peat, moonstone, lantern, enchanted blade. Right. At least I can use my mouse now, anyway. Right, yeah, corner resource. I just did that, didn't I? Yeah, got a hiding spot. Doom! We're nearly there, folks. 11 out of 12. And the encounter that kicks us is, it's going to be an enemy. I'm due an enemy, I think. No, another Visions of Future Past. Test head of 5. Boom! Well, thanks to Peter and the Moonstone, I now have a head of 5 already. Let's use corner to discard the enchanted blade to boost it by 2. So that's a 7 on a 5. I'm not still getting stuck in the corner or something. 7 on a 5, and we have. So I failed by 5. 1, Dark Horse. 2, weakness. 3, another weakness. 4, painkillers. 5, able-bodied. I'm down to the last 2 cards. Right, let's start with action 1. I guess I go to the new location and see what I can find. Action 1 move. Reveal the location. Right, shroud 3, 3 clues. What am I doing? Why did I put 3 clues on that location? Did I put 3 clues in? No, I did. I put too many clues on that location. I don't know why I put 3 in. That's going to be a penalty, isn't it? 2 penalties, I guess that is, for discovering 2 clues. Discovering 1 clue that shouldn't have been there. Never mind. I'm sure I'll get a kicking later. Right. After you reveal tearing the path, take 2 damage. If you have no actions remaining, I still have 2, so I don't take 2 damage. Right, second action. I can investigate with the lantern, brings that down to a 2 shroud. I'm on 2. Two and a 2. Bit pointless, really. I don't really want to have to throw hiding spot away just yet, but needs must, I guess. Let's do it. Discard that and do 4 and a 2. -1. That's a pass. I get 1 clue. Was it only 2 clues per investigator to a? Advance. I suppose it would have made sense to stay there and discover more clues. I've wasted an action now, haven't I? Action 3, move back again. No enemies in play, nothing to ready. Card, painkillers, and a resource. Doom takes us to 12 out of 12. As you explore the path surrounding Sentinel Hill, the chanting at the hilltop rises to a crescendo and takes an otherworldly quality, reverberating through the trees as if carried by unseen currents. The world begins to change, the grass and trees dissolve like sugar in a cup of tea. The vast endless sky slices through the reality you see before you, and you feel drawn to it, terrified and awestruck. The arcane power becomes distorted and seeps around you, creating strange alterations in the land even. Shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. Right, that's one hefty encounter pile, that is. Encounter. Each investigator at a Sentinel Hill location, yes. Tests head of 4. If you fail, take 2 damage. Head of 4. My head is 5. I will... I'll keep paying. Let's just do 5 and a 4. Let's risk it. 5 and a 4. -1. It's a pass. And I still have a card. Action 1. Investigate. Investigate with a lantern, bringing that down to a 3. I'll use cornered to boost me to a 4. That's all I've got, isn't it? 4 and a 3. I haven't got... I thought I had winging it. No. Right, 4 and a 3. Another -1 would be nice. Clue found, immediately spent, bringing an altered path location into play. Action 2, move to the new location and risk ending my turn. Discard the top 5 of your deck, cards of your deck if you have no actions remaining. I do have an action remaining. So this is a moon. Right, they don't connect to each other. Okay. Right. 1 clue to find. One clue to find. So action 1 was investigate, action 2 was move, so action 3, let's investigate again. Using my lantern, brings that down to a 1. I'm investigating with a 2. I've got no cards to discard to commit to it. Nothing to boost it with. So it's a straightforward 2 against a 1. 2 against a 1. And we get a -2. That's failed. No enemies in play. Nothing to ready. Card. It's the last card of my deck, Meat Cleaver, and I can't remember, do I take the horror now, or do I take the horror when I would go to draw a card and there aren't any? I'll take the horror now. and I'll put it on Pete. Give me a chance to reshuffle some of these clumps together. Let's do a couple of mass shovels as well. Right. Did I take the resource? I'm not sure I did take the resource. I think I took the card, realised I was out, and took a horror, so I'll take my resource. Doom! 1 out of 10. Encounter. These come around quick, don't they? Violent commands. Put it into your threat area. Deal 2 damage to an investigator at your location and then discard it as an action. So I've got to basically stab someone, including myself, to get rid of it. Otherwise I risk taking horror at the end of every turn. Peter's timing is after your turn ends. Right. That horror went onto Peter in upkeep, so he won't have triggered a heal. Right, action 1. I think I risk keeping that because I'm on a head of 5 at the moment. No, I'm going to take an action, take 2 damage, and get rid. Play it safe. Action 2. I need to investigate. So I right. I used my lantern to bring that down to 1. I am on a 2. 2 and a 1. And nothing to boost it by. I'm going to risk it. Terrible decision. 2 on a 1. Cultist, draw another token. 2 on a 1. Minus 2. Failed by 1. Third action, do it again. Come on. 2 on a 1. Minus 3. Failed again. Hate this game. Why do I play it? Onto enemies move, enemies attack, ready cards. Card and a resource. And we get overpower. Just what I need at this current situation. A fist. Doom flips to 2 out of 10. Draw an encounter card and we get need for knowledge. If you have no clues, I have a clue. Test Book of X, where X is the number of clues you have. Book of 1. Oh, Peter healed that horror at the end of my turn. So test Book of 1. My book is 2. I'll use cornered to discard overpower to make it 4. 4 and a 1. 0. Didn't need it anyway. Okay. Action 1. Let's get that thing investigated. Draw a card. Action 1, draw. Action 2, investigate that Lantern brings that down to 1. Use cornered to discard Ventura to boost me to a 4. 4 on a 1. Come on. Cultist. 4 on a 1. +1. I've seen you all day. Got my clues. So now I can head back this way. So I'll move back here. Ready to head to Sentinel Peak on the next turn. 1, 2 enemies move, enemies attack, there's no enemies in play, nothing to ready, card, and a resource. Emergency quiche. Take a resource as well, so... Doom. 3 out of 10. Counter. Thrall. Location with the most clues, of course, it's where I am. And he has Retaliate. Action 1. Stab him in the face, I think. 4. 5. I'm going to use that. 4, 5, 6. 6 on a 2. What's the worst that could happen? 6 on a 2. That's the worst that could happen. He has Retaliate, so he hits me back for 1 damage. And 1 horror, which goes on Pete. My Enchanted Blade is now spent. So well, we can just fight normally now. So it's going to take 2 actions to get to kill him. In fact, I'm trying to think now, do I have to do any investigating when we get to Sentinel Peak or not? Can't remember. I think it's more about killing Seth, isn't it? Right, I'm going to do 1 attack of 2, 3. 3 on a 2. Using corner to discard Meat Cleaver to make it 5 on a 2. Why was I 3 on a 2? Oh yes, I'm taking an Enchanted Blade. So it's 5 on a 2, minus 2. That's 1 damage. And then just, I'm going to discard the lantern to do the other damage to him, so he's dead. He or she, they are dead. That's my 3 actions. No enemies in play. We've nothing to ready. Oh, because I killed... Ooh. After you defeat an enemy, you can play an asset from your discard pile once per round. I don't really want the lantern back. I'm not that fussed about it now because I don't think I have to do much more investigating. I want to play that. So I've not triggered his event. Anyway, okay, card and a resource. Painkillers, no resource. Doom, we go to 4 out of 10. Time is running out. Encounter. Crazed Shoggoth. Spawn at the nearest altered location. Whoa, that is nasty. When Crazed Shoggoth attacks, if the attack would defeat an investigator, that investigator is instead killed. Right, the nearest altered location, it's going to be one of these two. He's not Hunter, so he's just going to stay there, which is fine by me. Right, action 1. Going to spend 2 clues per investigator to enter Sentinel Peak. Hang on, before I do that, I'm going to pay 3 to equip the Meat Cleaver. Peter, when did Peter take that horror? That was on the last round, wasn't it, when I was fighting, so he would have healed that. Is it worth equipping painkillers to shovel some of my damage onto Peter? No. I'll regret that later. Right, action 2. Move to Sentinel Peak. Spend the 2 clues to enter it. And this is where you reveal Sentinel Peak. So if I draw, this is, well, maybe this is what I was thinking earlier. Oh, there are 2 clues to find. Right, as soon as you enter Sentinel Peak, advance. Approaching the peak of Sentinel Hill, you are confronted by several citizens. Blah 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 blah. Put the set aside Seth Bishop into play with 1 investigator. 1 damage per investigator on him. Okay. So he's there, so he's engaged with me with 1 damage already on him. From the ruins of the headstone on the altar at Hill's Peak, a gateway of churning vibrant energy even has appeared. A force like a hurricane erupts from the gate, bending trees. So only investigators at Sentinel Peak may spend the requisite number of clues as a group to advance. So, I need to do 2 damage to Seth. Oh wow, he's 5, okay. And then I need to discover 2 more clues. It's not told me to discard any clues. I'm flipping Shroud of 4 and I've got rid of my blinking lantern. Never mind. Right. I'm going to attack Seth Bishop with a meat cleaver. I fight him with 4, 5, so it's 5 and a 5. I'm going to take a horror to boost the damage, which I'll put on Peter. 5 and a 5. I haven't got any fight pay from the discard pile, no. 5 and a 5. I'll use corner to discard painkillers to make it 7 on a 5. It's a gamble. Might pay off. 7 on a 5. -2. That's a pass. 7 on a 5. That's successful. And because I charge the meat cleaver with horror, I do 2 damage. So Seth is one hit killed. Is that right? I got that right. That seems a little too easy. Place him here with 1 damage per investigator on him, and he has 3 per investigator health, so we only have 2 left to do. 1 victory point. Whew. I don't want to get cocky, but I feel like I can do this now. Well, if I can investigate for Toffee, of course. That was my 3rd action anyway. Peter heals at the end of my turn. No, he's not a hunter, so he stays there. Enemies attack. Nothing to ready. Card. Another enchanted blade and a resource. We have Doom. We go to 5 out of 10. And an encounter. It's going to be an enemy, isn't it? Okay, Light of Arkham. Treat all direct damage. Damage as direct damage and horror as direct horror. Oh, Peter. Right. I need to get 2 clues. I don't have any tools for getting 2 clues. Because I've got rid of my... Oh, hang on. I defeated... I defeated a what's his face, so I can play an asset from my discard pile. 2. I'll play the lantern back, replacing the enchanted blade. Yeah. So he did that. Right, action 1, investigate Sentinel Peak. I've got my lantern, that brings that shroud down from 4 to 3. I'm investigating with a 2. I need more. Action 1, draw a card. Yeah. So action 2, I investigate, bringing that shroud down to a 3. I'm investigating with a 2. I use cornered, get rid of manual dexterity to put me on a 4. 4 on a 3. It's not ideal. 4 on a 3. +1. 1 clue found. That was action 2. I just need to do that again. So again, I use corner to discard enchanted blade. 4 on a 3. And now the chaos bag will really hit me in the face. 4 on a 3. 0. That's a pass. I gained the last clue. Spent 2 clues to advance the act. That goes away. You don't know how to close the swirling gate before you, and with each passing moment the force from within it grows in strength. You fear that whatever entity the sorcerers have summoned from beyond approaches. With no time to spare, you turn to open the tome on the stone altar, desperate for answers. Resolution 1. Wow. Okay, so that's 2, 3, 4 victory points. Just 4 XP to upgrade in the fight for the final scenario. Let's read the blurb. Resolution 1. Burdenage. Resolution 1. The poorly bound tome appears to be the written records of old Whatley, the man who taught Wilbur the ancient secrets of sorcery. You find a passage describing a place outside of time and space where worlds converge and Yog-Sothoth dwells. Only by reaching this nexus at the edge of reality can you unmake the tear that has split open the world. Feeling as though you may be going to your doom, you muster a final ounce of courage and step into the gate. So record, the investigators entered the gate, and each investigator earns XP equal to the victory the cards in the victory displays. That's 2, 3, 4. No locations had victory points, did they? No. No. Right. Okay, 4 XP. The only there might have been a timing issue about some of the way I played some of those cards, and I'm pretty sure I'll have to rewind and check that for some reason I put multiple clues on this location. I'm not sure though. Well, I'm sure my reviewer will quite happily point my mistakes out to me. Cool. Right. Okay. I'll. Thanks for watching. My one viewer, Smega. Hello. Yep. 4 XP. Successful resolution. Moving on. So again, thank you very much for watching, and I shall be back in a couple of weeks. Bye!